Well, good evening, lovely people. Welcome back to the farm. And would you look at that moon? Big, bright, beautiful moon tonight. But I wanted to welcome you to the best part of your night. The part of your night where I get to spend part of my night with you. And one of the things that I really like to do, which I don't do very often, but I thought tonight, those proud few who've gotten to come out to the garage with me with a fine adult beverage of their choice in hand, and we spend precious time together in my garage. Now, the garage tonight is a little bit of a mess. I do apologize. Nonetheless, it will be an exquisite evening. A few choice moments out of your busy day. Just take some time to relax and spend some time with me and the tools. So it's time that we have a farm meeting. It's time that I share with you what we have been talking about for now quite a while and what I've been hinting at. It's time that I reveal to you, that I bring you behind the curtain, or that I sweep it away so that you know exactly where we all stand. Don't mind the quail as they, whatever they're doing over there, moving around like crazy little birds. Actually, I wonder, I should probably check on them quickly. Let's just see how the quail are doing. I see the quail have plenty of food. The quail have plenty of water. It's good. Take a look here. You notice in there, plenty of food. And up here, plenty of water. Don't worry, that water isn't really yellow. It's just the way it looks through the plastic. And they are happy little quail running around, living their life, doing their thing. Laying plenty of eggs for us, I see. After a hard day's work, I like to sit back and reflect on what has transpired, and to look forward, to look ahead at what yet can be done. But we should always determine our place in life by looking backwards. Taking a moment to focus on what was, what has been, what has transpired, and then we'll actually understand where we're at. One cannot accurately predict where they will be without taking a look back. Precisely 1 year ago, we began our search for a homestead, for a place where we could begin homesteading, where we could begin farming. In 2021, about this time, we began looking for that home, and we found this home. We found this exact place. It was the first place that we really found. And so we began to think about it. We began to envision what we would do here. We came and we saw the place. We walked around, we looked at everything, we checked things out as best we could, as best we knew how. And then after several more visits, inspections, we finally decided we were going to make an offer. And within a day, couple of days, our offer was accepted with a caveat. So we received a counter offer basically, and then we accepted that offer. It was basically virtually the same offer. Minute changes here or there. What we ultimately ended up doing then was we closed April 30th. We officially moved in May 3rd. So things went pretty quickly for us in the new year. And it's kind of shocking to think that we've really only been here about 8 months. Now looking back at what we've done, we've raised over 1,000 pounds of meat. We've sold several hundred pounds of that meat. We still have freezers stocked full of meat. We're ready for the apocalypse. It wasn't really what we were trying to do, but we've got plenty of meat. It's the middle of winter, so our power went out. The food would be fine. We'd probably have to cull some animals that wouldn't be able to survive without power, especially the quail. But we'd be fine. We'd be just fine. We wouldn't have everything that I would prefer, that I would want, having considered all that we've done in the last year, and considering what we could potentially do in the coming year, I take a moment to reflect back on the last year so that I can envision what we might be able to achieve in the year to come. We've learned a lot of lessons. We've tested the limits of our stamina. We've tested the limits of what we're able to do. It's been an interesting year to say the least. And now I'm faced with a dilemma. Continue next year as we did this year, basically doing what we did this year, probably ramping it down just a little bit, backing off the accelerator and slowing down just a little bit, because we're not going to need to raise another 1,000 pounds of meat unless people ask us to. That would be the only way that I would consider doing it, is if we had people who bought into what we were doing now and wanted meat that we would sell next year. But honestly, here's where I'm at. This year was pretty good. We made some major advances beyond anything that we expected to do or thought we would do. So much more than I even anticipated we would be capable of doing. It got to the point where, quite frankly, we were just exhausted and on the verge of burnout. We were about ready to, looking back, I didn't realize it, but we were about to throw the towel. Considering that we'd probably back off on some of the stuff that we've done in the last year. And it makes me wonder if we're doing a little bit less this year of some of the stuff that we did last year, could we take on more this year that we didn't do last year? Just for one example, we'd like to get a cow, just putting it out there. We like milk, we like sour cream, we like yogurt, I like butter, I like cream cheese. There's so many different things that we like that we did last year that we're not going to do this year, or at least not to that same extent. And there are so many different things that are milk products, that are dairy products that I like, that we're not able to produce ourselves, that I'm thinking the next step might be we get a milk cow. If we did that, that would probably be the only major new thing that we did next year. There'd be plenty of minor things for sure. We would be building a very special relationship with a new family cow or two. I would think one would be fine, but we'll see. You know, we're always thinking about serving other people, and so my question then is, would getting a milk cow for ourselves and an additional milk cow to produce more milk for others, would that serve somebody else? And the answer is I don't know at this point. But it's just a consideration. It's always in the back of my head. So everything that we did here, I always thought, in addition to what can we do for ourselves, I was always thinking, and what can we do for others? We probably gave away more chicken than we actually sold this year, which I'm perfectly fine with. You know, I love being able to bless other people. So many people have blessed me in my life, and I know I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for other people unconditionally blessing me. And so when that happens, that just makes you want to pay it forward, turn around and hand off what you can't use or what you don't need to somebody else, and maybe do a little bit extra so that you can bless somebody. Scripture talks about this. Paul talks about this, you know, working quietly with your hands, earning a living so that you can earn your own way and earn a little extra so that you can help those who are in need. This year we've been so blessed to see the fruit of our labor abound in its harvest, to see a good return on pretty much everything that we've done, above and beyond all that we expected, and dare I say, above and beyond what we reasonably, logically should have seen. We're not especially wise or righteous beyond imagination or anything like that. This year has exposed for me some of my biggest flaws, some of my biggest weaknesses, some of my biggest areas of temptation, some of my biggest areas of laziness. It's been a hard year. It's been a very, very good year, but it's been a very, very trying year as well. It's all very good. A lot of good stuff happened this year, but in myself, I saw a lot of things that I want to change, a lot of areas where I want to improve, a lot of areas where we as a whole, as a family unit, can improve as well. I don't know, by the end of this year, are we going to have outpaced those weaknesses and replaced them with strengths? And I don't really know if that's how that works. I'm still thinking about that. I'll have to get back to you on that. I suppose that as you overcome certain weaknesses, other weaknesses present themselves. They're revealed to you. And isn't that funny? I think that's how life works. I think that's how it's supposed to work. If we knew everything that was wrong with us, I'm talking every little aspect of where we were weak, where we didn't measure up, in this precise moment, I think it would be overwhelming. We wouldn't be able to handle it. And so we work on those areas of weakness that we can see now, and then when we overcome those obstacles, when we achieve greater success than the year before, or the day before, the week before, whatever, suddenly more challenges present themselves, and we see with greater clarity those areas where we can improve even more, those areas where we're weak when we didn't realize that we were weak there. And it's humbling and it's sobering. A lot of thoughts, good thoughts, hard thoughts. Self-reflection is sometimes, you want to call it enlightening, but at the same time, it can be painful. So I know that you didn't join me out here just to be the fly on the wall during my soul searching. I know that you probably are wondering, what's this thing that you're going to pull back the curtain on? Okay. So we've got a couple different names, and there's a couple different variations of these names that we could go with. One of the names that we've been thinking about is Free Living Farms. Now, the variations on that could be Free Living Farmstead. And the other name that we were thinking about is something like Free Warden. Free, denoting freedom, and then warden, denoting a person who is a guardian of something. So a guardian of freedom. And variations of that could be Free Warden Farms, Free Warden Farmstead. It's pretty much up for grabs at this point. These are basically the two names that we've settled on. We'd like to go with one or the other. Free Living Farm or Free Warden Farms, any of the above. As I think about these names, I'm drawn to Free Warden or one of its variations. I'll have to admit, it's not without bias. This is a term that I have been kind of milling over and rolling around in my head for quite a while, years. It's a term that I think is somewhat unique. I guess as I'm considering these names, I'm thinking about their uniqueness. As far as uniqueness, Free Warden is by far the most unique name that I have personally come up with. I shouldn't say it's the most unique name that I've seen out there, because there are plenty of very unique names. I mean, there's some great names out there that people have chosen for their channels, for their social media. What we're really looking for is something that embodies our ethos, our principles, our values. And we are a family that loves and cherishes freedom, liberty. One of the things that makes our nation and our state a great state, not freedom necessarily to be selfish, to just look out for ourselves and, everybody else just fend for yourselves. That's not what we've done by far in the last year. And I shouldn't even need to feel like we have to defend ourselves, but the idea of freedom is under such attack on many different fronts. This idea that people will use their freedom as a license to neglect or even harm somebody else. Well, that is not freedom, not by a long stretch. And shame on the people that use freedom as a license to neglect or harm other people. Shame on them. True freedom opens you up to more and greater potential to actually love and serve your neighbor. like you wouldn't have otherwise. And it is in this spirit that we want to embrace freedom. The freedom to not only choose for ourselves what we do with our own lives, but to choose how and when and where we will love and serve those people around us. And look out for people who are less fortunate and try to help them. Doesn't necessarily mean that we'll always be successful. That's not the case. That's not what I'm arguing here. But to simply have the choice. That would be nice. To not be told you will do this and that and the other thing in such a way and so forth and so on. That's the big news that we have for you today. We're thinking about what we're going to do next year. We're thinking that a family cow might be a lot to take on. And if it is, the thing that we take on, we may not take a lot else on. We'll probably maintain at least a portion of what we did last year. Chickens, ducks, geese, quail, sheep, pigs. We'll definitely maintain that, but we have enough pasture that I believe we can add a considerable amount of more total grazing animal mass to our land. With the amount of sheep that we raised on our land and the amount of pasture and forage that was out there that wasn't used adequately, because by the end of the year, we were far and away from having efficiently used all of the pasture that we have. So we could definitely add, we could definitely triple or even quadruple the amount of sheep that we were raising on this land. Why don't we just get one animal or two animals? Instead of raising 28 sheep, why don't we stick with around 14 or so sheep and then add a cow or two? So that would be the one thing. Cows. Should we get into it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I know some of you've got my personal information. You reach out to me personally. I appreciate that. If you want to leave a comment, I'd appreciate that. That would actually help the channel. I know that, you know me, so you're gonna reach out privately. Hey, you know what? Just leave your thoughts in the comments. Whether it's positive, negative, you've got a question, or maybe you think, hey, you're wrong here, I need to correct you on this. That's great. It helps the channel. So think about it like this. You're helping the channel when you leave a comment, whether it's positive, negative. You're helping the channel whether you like or dislike this video. You actually are. You don't actually downrate the video by disliking it. If we haven't earned your subscription yet, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I'd like you to leave a reason in the comments. I would like to know, what do we need to do to earn your subscription? All right, so the other thing that we talked about tonight out here in the garage was the name change. What do you think? Free Living Farms? Or do you think we should go with something that's fairly unique comparatively? Free Living Farm has been taken, but Free Warden or Free Warden Farm, none of these have been taken. We can make of the word what we want to make of it. And for me, it represents somebody who's a guardian of freedom. And that's really what we moved out here for. We moved out here because the times, they are changing. And we were looking for a place of our own, a little place where we could curate and we could foster and we could create an environment for our children and for ourselves and for our friends and our family, a place where we could offer a sanctuary of freedom. And so for that reason, Free Warden, I'm really just kind of partial to Free Warden. We just called the channel Free Warden, and it would be, welcome to Free Warden Farm. Free Warden is something that has been on my radar. It's been a thought in my mind for years. Maybe that is the thing that best encapsulates who we are, that best defines what we're doing. What we're really trying to do is share the fun side, the cultural side of freedom. Not necessarily the political side. We're trying to share what could be, the beauty of it, the grand vision of the goodness of freedom, of liberty, of living a life that's worthwhile and full of purpose and takes responsibility for personal choice and loves personal, individual choice because precisely it is that's the catalyst for success and growth and charity and love and kindness. I hope this has been for you the best part of your day. It's the best part of my day that I got to share with you. So if nothing else, if you watched this and you enjoyed it and you thought, he's a little cuckoo, he's a little off, that's fine. As long as we both had fun and we both enjoyed what we did here today. Do you think we should get a cow? Or do you think, you guys did enough? You should back off. Hey, I'm just asking for your opinion. I'm not saying that we're gonna follow it. As far as a name then, what do you think we should choose as a name? Free Living Farms? Or something like Free Warden or Free Warden Farms? Honest opinion, that's all I'm asking for. That's all I've got for tonight. Tomorrow's a new day. Don't forget, life is for living. It's not just for existing. So go out and live some. We'll talk to you later. Bye.